southwestern China's Yunnan Province faces a mounting crisis as devastating floods continue to wreak havoc across the mountainous region. Between July 17th and 20th, relentless rainfall triggered widespread flooding that has transformed urban streets into raging rivers and left millions of residents vulnerable to further disaster. The catastrophe began when days of continuous downpours delivered rainfall levels far exceeding seasonal norms across large sections of Yunnan. The region's mountainous terrain, typically a natural barrier, became a liability as narrow streams swelled into torrential flows that overwhelmed both urban drainage systems and rural waterways. In Kunming, the provincial capital known for its dense population and hilly landscape, city streets quickly became impassable waterways. Residents watched in shock as water levels rose chest-high in low-lying neighborhoods, turning major thoroughfares into impromptu rivers where vehicles floated helplessly against barriers. The disaster's scope becomes apparent when examining the widespread damage across multiple urban centers. Zhaotong City emerged as one of the hardest-hit areas, where heavy rainfall triggered dangerous landslides that severed key transportation arteries. The combination of flooding and landslides isolated remote communities, severely hampering emergency response efforts and leaving thousands cut off from outside assistance. But Mother Nature wasn't finished with her devastating display. Feel the overwhelming power as floodwaters surge with unstoppable force, carrying away everything in their path like toys scattered by an angry child. These are the moments when we witness nature's savage side in all its terrifying glory. In the ancient city of Dali, residents experienced heart-stopping terror as muddy torrents crashed through centuries-old streets with the force of a freight train. Waist-deep water cut through residential blocks, swallowing front yards and storefronts alike. People used buckets to bail out their homes in desperate attempts to save their possessions. Entire families found themselves trapped on rooftops, waiting desperately for help to arrive as the brown surge swirled beneath them like a hungry beast. The destruction tells its own haunting story. In Qujing City, entire parking lots became graveyards for vehicles, with cars stacked like dominoes after being swept together by the furious current. Imagine the frustration and loss felt by those vehicle owners, their prized possessions now completely submerged, victims of nature's overwhelming wrath. How would you react if one day Mother Nature knocked on your door with the fury of these devastating floods? That's exactly what happened to thousands of residents across Yunnan Province on July 17th. Underground shopping centers and subway stations were among the first to surrender to the flood's relentless advance. In Yuxi, escalators stopped working as water gushed down stairwells like massive waterfalls. Shoppers scrambled desperately for exits as emergency lighting flickered and died, plunging them into a nightmare of rushing water and darkness. Store owners watched in horror as their life's work disappeared beneath the murky surface. Electronic stores, clothing boutiques, restaurants, all becoming underwater graveyards where cash registers floated alongside merchandise in a surreal dance of destruction. In some underground parking garages, cars were trapped like metal coffins as water levels rose rapidly, creating pressure that shattered windows. Transport across the province has been devastated beyond recognition. bridges cracked under immense pressure or collapsed entirely, their concrete and steel no match for the flood's fury. Rural roads vanished completely under brown floodwater, leaving remote villages isolated like islands in an ocean of destruction. A major highway section in Honghe Prefecture gave out entirely, with massive slabs of concrete snapping and sliding down the valley like fallen dominoes. The sight was both mesmerizing and terrifying, watching modern engineering crumble before nature's unstoppable force. Supply trucks carrying essential goods had to turn back or wait for days, unable to reach communities desperately needing food, water, and medical supplies. Perhaps nowhere was the devastation more heart-wrenching than in Yunnan's agricultural heartland. Fields that once held rows of precious crops now lay completely drowned in silt and standing water. Rice paddies that feed millions across China were submerged under meters of muddy torrents, their delicate green shoots disappearing beneath the relentless brown surface. Corn and wheat lay flat under the crushing weight of the flood, their golden stems bent and broken like the dreams of the farmers who planted them. Farmers who had invested everything could only watch helplessly as entire seasons of work vanished before their eyes. Some tried desperately to save what they could, using makeshift ditches and bamboo barriers, but their efforts were like trying to hold back the ocean with bare hands. Livestock had to be evacuated in dramatic rescue operations. Cattle, goats, and chickens were seen being herded through chest-deep water as barns flooded around them, their panicked calls mixing with the roar of rushing water. Some brave farmers risked their own lives to save their animals, knowing these creatures represented not just their livelihood, but their family's survival. The human cost becomes even more staggering when you witness families evacuating with nothing but the clothes on their backs. In Wenshan Prefecture, emergency boats worked around the clock, ferrying stranded residents from rooftops where they had taken refuge. The elderly and children received priority, their faces showing a mixture of raw fear and overwhelming gratitude as rescue teams pulled them to safety. Yunnan Province has faced floods before, but nothing quite like this devastating assault. The damage runs deeper than anyone initially imagined, touching everything from vital transportation networks and agricultural lands to homes, schools, and hospitals. The economic impact alone will be staggering, billions of yuan in damages that will take years to calculate. Yet amid all this destruction, the human spirit shines brightest. Stories emerge daily of ordinary people performing extraordinary acts of courage. Teachers who refused to abandon their students, doctors who continued treating patients even as water rose around their clinics, neighbors who risked everything to save strangers. The province now turns its focus to recovery, hoping desperately that the worst is finally behind them. But knowing the full toll will take considerable time to understand. The floodwaters may eventually recede, but the scars left on Yunnan Province will take months, if not years, to heal completely. For now, millions remain at risk as meteorologists warn that more severe storms could be brewing on the horizon. The people of Yunnan have shown incredible resilience, but their greatest test may still lie ahead. The floods may have taken much from Yunnan Province, but they could not wash away the unbreakable bonds between neighbors, the determination to rebuild, and the hope for a better tomorrow. Mother Nature may have shown her savage side, but she also revealed the very best of human nature in response. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful force of all.